According to many, the modern dating scene is in shambles,
I think that there is an anti-dating culture at the moment.
with reportedly 45% of women expected to be single by 2030, and a further reported 48% of men between ages 20 to 40 have not approached a woman in the last year. Could these clips provide us with some insight as to why? Let's take a look. This is 20-year-old Jonathan Mitchell, joined by his cousin, who believes he's being taken advantage of by his fiancée. This is his fiancée, 19-year-old Skylar Lohman. She and her mother are arguing against Mr. Mitchell's claims, and their lives are about to change forever.
You say if the DNA results prove you are not the father, next month's wedding is off.
Meet London, the child of Miss Lohan,
Ms.
and the
Lohan,
supposed child of Mr. Mitchell. Today, Ms. Lohan, her mother, Mr. Mitchell, and his cousin are in paternity court to find out whether or not Mr. Mitchell is the father of London. But first, this is their interesting backstory. According to Ms. Lohman invited her troubled friend, Mr. Mitchell, to live with her family. Despite having a boyfriend, she and Mr. Mitchell started a sexual relationship, leading to pregnancy. Lohman initially believed her ex-boyfriend was the father, but later suspected Mr. Mitchell was the father after the child's birth. This case hinges on paternity doubts, with Mr. Mitchell, who has bonded deeply with the child, seeking confirmation of his fatherhood. Similarly to this next individual whose wife slept with multiple men while he was on military deployment, but we will get to that later in the video. But what Miss Lohan said next stunned the court.
what is your ex doing?
Absolutely nothing with his life.
We have no idea where he's even at.
I have no contact with him. I even tried to speak to his father, and his father has no idea. He hasn't seen him in 6 months.
Lohman's ex is unresponsive, complicating the situation further. The court seeks clarity for all parties, especially the child.
So as much as you are hoping she is, the truth is you really don't know.
I really don't know.
Right.
I want to know, though.
Nevertheless, the information Mr. Mitchell is about to receive may change his outlook on London.
Well, I think I've heard all that I need to hear. Jerome, I'm ready for the results.
Good.
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Lohman versus Mitchell, when it comes to 10-month-old London Leona Lohman, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Mitchell, you are not the father.
Mr. Mitchell was pronounced as not the biological father of London. Both parties were visibly upset by the outcome as the courtroom laid silent. However, Mr. Mitchell decided that he'll stay in London's life regardless of who the biological father is.
You have formed a beautiful bond with the baby. I know you said this relationship was on the line. Where do we go from here?
I'm keep going. And stay her dead.
You want to still stay in her life?
Yes.
And be her dad.
What do you think? Should Jonathan have stayed with Skylar in London after this ordeal? Would you have done the same in his situation? Comment your thoughts down below. Jonathan and Skylar's case was a very emotional one, just like this next case. According to the USO, the average deployment period for U.S. military personnel is 6 to 12 months. Apparently, that was ample time for Mrs. Threlkeld to cheat on her husband with 20 different men, if we do the math with the 2 time periods mentioned earlier. That equals to about 3 men per month for 6 months, or approximately 1.6 or 2 men a month for 12 months. Nevertheless, Mr. Threlkeld is in paternity court with his wife to find out whether he's the biological father of Liliana due to understandable doubts and concerns. He claims that if it turns out he is not the father, he is filing for divorce.
Mr. Threlkeld, you have entered this courtroom with a marriage on the brink of divorce. You state that while you were out of the country serving in the military, your wife paraded around town with other men.
Do you think this is a reasonable reaction? Comment your thoughts down below. This is Mr. and Mrs. Threlkeld's colorful backstory. According to Mrs. Threlkeld, she and her husband got married young. She claims that Mr. Threlkeld's profession did not sustain all the financial needs of the household, so she began exotic dancing as a way to cover these remaining living expenses. However, the judge and Mr. Threlkeld questioned that sentiment.
There was reasons why I needed to.
Yeah, see, she says she needed the funds to support her family. Overseas, I was making $4,000 to $5,000 tax-free a month. Living in a $400
It wasn't
rent
even that much.
room.
Okay, Your Honor, there are expenses when you have kids. The money that was coming in, let's just be real, it wasn't enough to support the kids. And on top of that,
wasn't enough to support the kids. How? Because I'm going to keep it real. $5 grand a month.
I had to
tax-free.
have it mainly.
However, what Mr. Threlkeld reveals next leaves the courtroom speechless.
I really want to
He's
know
always calling me.
why you chose stripping. I mean, because you could have just said, I want to go get an extra job at the mall.
Okay.
I want to be
Ma'am, since
Your
08,
Honor,
since we've
I
been
had
together,
to
since
choose.
2008, she hasn't started working until actually about 3 weeks ago. It was
That
her
is
actually
a job, by
first-time
the
job.
way.
Hooking or stripping?
It's not hooking.
You're selling your body for money. Hooker.
No, it's not.
Anyways.
Excuse me.
Anyways.
According to Mr. Threlkeld, he was tipped off through his colleague of his wife's questionable career choice. This prompted him to tell Mrs. Threlkeld that their marriage was over. Approximately 2 weeks after Mr. Threlkeld's statement, Mrs. Threlkeld supposedly slept with multiple men, including one who confirmed his sexual encounter with Mrs. Threlkeld to Mr. Threlkeld over the phone. But that's not even the worst part. Take a listen to this.
Because the truth is that even though you had that plan in your mind, that if I get her pregnant, that will be a professional hindrance.
But he doesn't think about all the other costs that come along with that and responsibilities. Hence why we have 3 kids
You were
now.
also sleeping with another man during that same time period.
Yes,
Am I
Your
correct?
Honor. Yes.
So you didn't know as well
Yes, Your Honor. That's
who could
correct.
be the father.
During the alleged time of conception, Mrs. Threlkeld was sleeping with her husband and another man, which brings us to today, where we'll find out if Liliana is Mr. Threlkeld's biological child. Either way, with their marriage on the line and a family of 3, the court will be shocked to find out what happens next.
Our results today were prepared by DNA Diagnostics. In the case of Threlkeld versus Threlkeld, pertaining to 1-year-old Liliana, Mr. Threlkeld, you are Liliana's father.
Mr. Threlkeld was pronounced the biological father of Liliana and claims he's ready to move on with their marriage.
It's like we're stuck with each other.
Hopefully, Mrs. Threlkeld feels the same way and is ready to stop serving the town while her husband is serving the country. However, what do you think? Should Mr. Threlkeld have ended the marriage regardless of the DNA results, or did he make the right decision? Tell us your thoughts in the comment section. Since you've made it this far into the video, we can tell you enjoy this kind of content. So make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel to stay tuned for videos like this, where we delve into the chaos and drama that happens in courtrooms. Switch on notifications as well to get notified of every time we drop a video so you can stay up to date. Now let's move on. According to the Centers for Disease Prevention and Control, CDC, the current divorce rate here in the United States is around 42% nationwide. Other quick facts about divorce in the U.S. include there are 86 divorces every hour, compared to 230 marriages an hour, and this next couple are no exception. This is a dramatic showdown between Janelle and Brandon. Their relationship is on the rocks, and we're diving into the shocking details of their courtroom battle. From trust issues and financial disagreements to a shocking DNA test, let's break down what went down. Janelle and Brandon aired their dirty laundry in front of Judge Lynn Toller. The couple faced intense scrutiny over Brandon's past infidelity and questionable handling of finances. Janelle expressed frustration over Brandon's lack of emotional openness, feeling he wasn't sharing his true feelings and instead confiding in others.
Lord, you contend that Mr. Silas is emotionally unavailable. What do you mean by that?
He is. Like, he doesn't show emotion at all. I don't know when he's hurting. I don't know when he's sad. I don't know none of it because he doesn't show it. I have to pick an argument to see it. That's how I know.
So
he's
the only
emotional.
emotion he ever gives you is anger.
Exactly. That's the only time he gives me emotion is when he's angry.
What is it you want him to talk to you about that he's not willing to share?
Like stuff when he was a kid and what he goes through on a daily basis. He's a man. Every man goes through stuff on a daily basis. So I know once you hit the real world, you're going to go through stuff. He doesn't talk to me about that. I guess he feels because I'm a woman, I don't know it. But I understand it. I probably don't know it, but I understand it.
Or you can always listen.
Yeah, I can listen to you. I got ears.
Brandon, on the other hand, was baffled by Janelle's spending habits, especially when she came back from shopping with only partial items he had requested.
Mr. Silas, why don't you tell me about the money issues the two of you have between you?
Basically, like the money issue would be a problem with her is basically if I tell her to go to the store because, you know, sometimes, like I tell you, I work. I don't be able to kind of go and make those type of store runs. So if I tell her to go make a store run, I'll give her a couple of dollars. Let's go get some soap. I need some we need toilet tissue, you know, we need all type of things for the house. Yeah, the basics for the house. All right. I sent her to the store. Couple of dollars, you know, enough to get whatever thing I just told her to get. Picture why she come back with some soap and just some tissue. I'm like, well, you know, we got something to wipe herself, you know what I'm saying, to take a bath with. But what happened to everything else, like the dish detergent, what we gonna wash the dishes with? The soap? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, with certain things, with money management.
Where do you think that money's going?
No, she just ain't shopping right. It's really kind of basically like what she wants to get. Yeah, we got a money budget. You know what I'm saying?
Does she buy personal things like, you know, fingernail polish and stuff like that? Or do you think she's just not good at getting bargains with the money that you give her?
I think it's the money that I'm giving her and she ain't bargaining right with it. You know what I'm saying?
The situation took a dramatic turn when a family member swabbed their baby for a DNA test, causing further tension and distrust.
Ms. Lewis, why don't you tell me what happened in the, when you had your baby? Some family member came in and did something outrageous. Why don't you tell me what happened?
The family member came in after Mr. Brandon and swabbed my baby for a DNA test while the nurse was in there.
So this family member just bogarted.
Just bogan.
Just swabbed him and swabbed it. Did you have any concerns at all as to whether or not that baby was yours?
I say I had an ounce because I like to keep it real, but I mean, as far as the overall judgment, when I first seen it, I knew that was mine.
Mm-hmm. Did you talk to your family member about that?
Yeah, I had
Did you get it straightened out?
Yeah, I had to let them know that wasn't the right thing to do. I kind of thought it would have done them a little more better. Probably would have done it when we was in kind of like a little privacy, you know, but I mean, you know.
But you got it straight in your hand.
Yeah, everything was straight. I had to go through hell and back, though.
I know why you like him. I get it. I get what the problem is, too. And we're going to get to that now.
This move was condemned by the judge, who emphasized the need for privacy and respect in their relationship. What would you do if a relative of yours done the same in your marriage? Let us know down below. The judge's advice was clear. Janelle and Brandon must prioritize open, honest communication, shield their relationship from outside interference, and move past old grievances.
When I read your information, I was already not to like you guys. I thought there was too much ratchetness going on to make a union worthwhile. But you know what I see? I see a man who changed for you. I see a man where, in order to talk about his cheating or the wrongs, you have to say, in the past. And I think you need to leave that in the past. Don't let that follow you around, because when that follows you around, that's nothing but fear, and your fear will come out as anger towards him, which will cause him to do the very thing you don't want him to do, which is to find peace in the arms of another woman. All right? That's number one. Number two, I think he's a good dude. He's got a job, he works hard. I think he loves you. I think you guys are a little young, but you know, you got to control the manner in which you have your conversations with your man. And you got to control who you have your conversations with outside of your house. It has to be the country. It's Lewis Silas. It has to be, this is our world. This is comfortable where you confide in me, my mother, my father, my brothers, my sisters, my Facebook fan. Nobody has access to this piece and part of me that I have with this dude in this house and our children. And the children he calls his own that you brought in from another place. And I want you to remember what you got when you look at him.
The judge also warned Brandon against using charm as a means to avoid accountability, urging him to stay committed and transparent.
Now, Mr. Silas, you're a little unctuous. It's like unctuous. It's like a little river of oil under some water. You're kind of slick, and you cool, and you're laid back. That's why the ladies like you. You can be very charming and disarming, and you use that, and it's fun to watch women swoon at your ability to do so. Now let me tell you what you're doing to her when you do that. You're making the mother of your children afraid that you're gonna leave, and it's awful to live afraid all day, every day. If you want to be smooth and charming, you go ahead and do that. Don't do that in front of her. Don't catch sight and all this kind of stuff while you're with her, and don't keep up with your exes and all that, because that's not defending the country Silas. It is not. You're standing over the walls, you got a breach in it. Do you understand what I'm saying? I think you two are wonderful people. I think you need to learn how to have a conversation. You need to learn who not to talk to, and you got to keep all that disarming, smiling, cool, headed in her direction.
Exactly.
You with me? Are you with me?
Yes, ma'am.
Did anything I say to make sense to you?
Yes, indeed.
Anything I say makes sense to you?
It makes sense.
You two are a good couple. I hope everything works well from here on in. Marry the woman and enjoy your life. This matter is adjourned.
Both parties expressed a commitment to follow the guidance, aiming for a more positive and unified future. Make sure to tell us what you think of Brandon and Janelle's relationship. Down below, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.